Welcome to Epic Begins with One Step Forward, the podcast that reveals how to plan, achieve, and enjoy the journey of creating epic results in your life, business, health, and relationships. Here's your host, best-selling author and motivational speaker, Zander Sprague.
Hello, epic people. Welcome to Epic Begins with One Step Forward. I am your host, Zander Sprague, and today I am ever so honored to welcome Angelina Anderson to the podcast. This is part of my Epic Athletes series, and just a little background. Angelina Anderson is a goalkeeper for the Angel City FC women's profession, the National Women's Soccer League club. She's just about to start her second year. She had an epically awesome rookie year, so much so that she got to start in their playoff. So incredible. Angelina, welcome. I'm so excited that you could be here today.
Thank you, Zander. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here too. Just so glad that we get to chat today.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. I've been thinking about this honestly for years. I've known Angelina for many years, watched her play soccer through high school and into college. I have yet to make it to a live game, watching it professionally, but I have watched her on the old TV and really enjoy that. So Angelina, truly it has been an epic journey for you, but how did you start off? When did you start playing soccer and how did you get to play goalie?
Oh gosh, I think I started playing soccer around the age of 7, which honestly, most girls you talk to who are professional now, they're like, oh, I picked up a ball when I was 3. I was juggling around the house. And so I feel like I actually started a little bit later than most people that I talk to at this level. But honestly, I think it was one of those things where my mom was talking to one of the moms in the neighborhood and she was like, oh, Angelina should try soccer. And at that point, my mom was like, soccer? Like, Angelina rides horses. She's a gymnast. I was doing everything but soccer. But one day, I think that idea just got planted in my mom's head. And it was kind of the age where your kids are trying out everything and seeing what sticks. And guess it stuck. I really liked it. My dad was my first coach. So surprised I stuck with it after him. Just kidding. But yeah, I guess I just stuck with it. I was actually a center defender for most of my childhood years. And then I like to say that the goalkeeping position found me. It chose me. I didn't necessarily choose it. I think to be a goalkeeper, you got to be a little crazy. Like there's a screw loose in there, That's why I think that the goalkeeper life chose me. I want to say like maybe 12 or so, 11 or 12. And I was on the second team at my club at the time. So the silver team, right. But the gold team needed a goalkeeper to go with them to the Surf Cup tournament, it's like the biggest youth tournament in soccer. And they asked me, they were like, hey, would you, want to come and join the gold team for Surf Cup? Like you'd have to be our goalkeeper. But you're athletic, you're tall, you play basketball, you could probably catch a ball. Do you want to try? Do you want to join the gold team and come to Surf Cup? And I was like, yeah, I want to go to Surf Cup. And from that moment forward, I was locked into the keeper life. And yeah, it's so interesting because I guess when I was that young, I never thought that it was like, all right, I'm locking in to being a goalkeeper now. But that was how it all started.
Wow. And certainly you've locked into it, and it's been an epic journey for you. What was it like? Angelina attended University of California, Berkeley, or Cal as we know it. What was it like the first time you stepped onto that Cal soccer field as the starting goalkeeper?
Wow, that's taking me back. I guess I haven't even thought about what that memory first felt like. I think coming into college, I was really lucky to have had national team experience beforehand, which I think almost gave me like a, kind of a precursor to what college and even the professional game is like, because I had to be a professional at a really early age when I was in with the national team. And I think that helped me kind of make the transition into college, which impacts your, I guess, performance on the field way more than you would ever understand. So I think honestly, I was really just excited about being able to make an impact as a freshman. And at that point, I was like, well, I'm on the field, so let's do this. Let's do the best we can. And I don't think I could have ever expected that my freshman year would have gone the way it did. But all I can really remember from, I guess, that first moment is just feeling really excited that I even got the chance. As a freshman, it kind of seems daunting or unheard of. But then once I was there, I just felt like, all right, here's my moment,
Exactly. And you referenced this, but of course, your modesty, perhaps you won't say, how many youth, U17, U20, whatever, you played in some World Cups, am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct. I played and captained in the U17 World Cup with the national team. It was such a cool experience in Uruguay. We didn't make it out of the group stage, but it was just incredible. I don't even think I realized then, what that opportunity was. But
Sure.
I mean, yeah, just what a cool thing to have said that I've done, and to have that confidence of doing something like that before, and then I also went to the U20 World Cup in France. And at that point I think I was 18 at that point. So I was playing up with a lot of the older girls. So it was definitely an intimidating experience at some parts, but also, again, just I can't really describe how incredible of an opportunity that was, especially at such a young age, to be able to travel the world and play on these big stages. I mean, it's so cool. I'm really grateful for that. And I miss those times. I'm excited, hopefully, to be back in with the national team at some point in the future.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's up with the national team? I know, with COVID and stuff, there was, but I believe, being good friends with your father and him perhaps telling a story or two, that you've actually gotten to practice with the national team, because you were both there and they asked you to come to a practice. Am I remembering correctly that you've actually you've been shot at by the national team?
Some of them, yes. Not all of them were there, but it was kind of like a joined camp when I was with the youth team. And so I did get to play with some of the to train with some of the current goalkeepers, which was really cool. That was a while ago. And so at that point they were already pros. And I guess I didn't really know how or if I stacked up against them, and now we're playing in the same league. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, just really cool opportunities. Like I said, being a young person and having those chances,
Okay. So for you, what has to be an epic moment for you is when you heard your name called in the draft, what was, can you just share with us kind of what that, like, what that evening was like? Like, I'm imagining you were pretty nervous. You weren't really sure if well, let me put it this way. I think you were pretty sure someone would call your name. You're just not sure who.
I mean, honestly, I was so nervous. Let me just start from the beginning, I guess,
Okay.
from the moment I even decided to enter the draft.
Sure.
Because I didn't really know 100%. I was like, do I want to go be a professional soccer player?
Sure.
Do I want to lock into this? Do I want to stay in school for another year? Do I want to continue, studying at a higher level? Do I want to play soccer at all? Like, I don't even know. I'm an overthinker, and I like to turn over every stone before I make a decision. So as I was turning those stones, I was just like, if I don't try this, I'm going to regret it.
Sure.
And so once I made that decision, I just went in full force. And by the time the draft came around, I was really nervous. I had been to a few goalkeeper combine kind of things, where professional goalkeeper coaches had been able to see me train and meet me and stuff, but I still you just never know what's going to happen on draft day. But I did know that Angel City was significantly interested in me, and I had a really good relationship with the coach at the time. And he called me right before the pick was about to go in, and he was like, "We're going to draft you next."
Oh, wow.
And it was funny because the call was actually, we had my laptop set up, recording our setup with all my family, watching and the coach, his name is Dan, he was calling me to tell me, and he was FaceTiming me, and it came up on my laptop. I wasn't looking at my phone. I was too nervous. It came up on my laptop, and my boyfriend, Steven, was like, Angelina, like, where is your phone? Go pick up your phone. Dan's calling you. And I was like, I almost missed the call.
Oh, no.
I know I almost missed the call, but I got it probably on the last ring. He told me they were going to draft me. And I mean, it sounds cheesy, but I think hearing my name get called was surreal, but it also was really reaffirming that I made the right choice, because I was just overjoyed. I was just so excited, and I felt obviously relieved, but I felt like, yes, in my gut, I felt this is the right decision, and I'm really happy that I took this chance. So for me, it was just like, kind of gave me that little confidence, like, yes, you made the right choice, which made me even more ready to go, more excited. And of course, then my family's going crazy. My dad jumps on me. He's like, "We're going to LA." It was awesome. I should send you that video. It's hilarious.
That's great. I'd love to see the video.
Yeah.
So here you are, you're in your rookie year. There's obviously a very experienced goalkeeper, who's the starting goalkeeper for Angel City, but you got to start a game. So here's my question, because I can only imagine. I mean, I'm for me, if I'm honest, the thought of a stadium full of people excited for me to be there is the wow. Yes, totally. But for you, you obviously have played on the world stage, as you said. Uruguay might like soccer a little, so I'm going to guess at full stadiums. But here you are in the Angel City Stadium. It's a home game, and I believe if it's not sold out, it's close to sold out. I mean, there's quite a few people there. What was it like for you when they called your name as a starter and you're going out to the box?
At that point, I was calm. I was ready. But in the hours before, the night before,
Yeah.
This is always how I am. I get really nervous. I get really anxious, and it just continues to build. And then my routine basically before a game kind of takes me out of that. And by
Sure.
the time I'm warming up, I'm super confident, super calm. I have like nothing but positive thoughts going through my head. No self-doubt, none of that. And then by the time it's time to take the field, I'm like, this is what I do. I felt so almost eerily calm that game, my first game.
Sure.
And I think having the prior experiences definitely helped, but this was, even having experienced everything that I had, this was on a different level for me. I had never played in front of 22,000 people. It was my first professional match. It was my first time, being my games being broadcasted everywhere. Like it was a completely different scenario. And
How do,
honestly,
how do
I
you
was
feel you
shocked
did?
how calm I felt.
And how do you feel you did in that game?
I think it went pretty well.
You blocked a penalty.
Yeah, I'd say it went pretty well.
You're so, folks, it went epically.
I will say it was probably I couldn't have even drawn it up that way. My first start as a pro, saving a PK, getting player of the match, and we won too, which is always a great thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I seriously don't think I could have drawn it up any better.
Well, that's awesome. All right. I've had you talk ad nauseum about sort of just your playing, but for the listeners, what can you share about I'll say the good and the bad of being a professional athlete?
Wow. Yeah, there's definitely good and bad, ebbs and flows. I think that's the best way to put it, honestly, is ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. And I think I really learned that my rookie year because I didn't know what to expect. I kind of came in with no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a healthy way to come into a new challenge. But yeah, I think a lot of people obviously, people see the highlights. People see when you make mistakes. People see the 22,000 fans watching you, and when you make those big saves, and when you save the game PK, when you get player of the match, all that stuff. But I think what gets lost sometimes is just that's like one moment
Absolutely.
out of the 99 moments of the grind, tears after a training, just feeling emotionally beat, your body's beat down. Like all of that is kind of what we deal with on a day to day. And then it's like moments like that, or even moments in training or moments with your team that are that epic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Those make it worth it. And so I think that was something I really learned last year is I've always heard other professional athletes say, like, you've got to learn to enjoy the grind, learn to enjoy the grind, learn to enjoy the grind. And I never really knew what that meant until I experienced it last year, because it's all a part of the process, even the bad days, everything.
Right.
And yeah, I would just say learning how to enjoy the grind has been a challenge as a young pro.
Sure. Absolutely. And I would imagine that, I mean, there's obviously it's on a bigger stage, there's more expectations, but you go from even at Cal, I mean, you were balancing schoolwork and practice, but when you're a pro, your job is obviously to play soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's different than, oh, I've got 3 hours of practice, but the rest of the time I'm going to school and stuff. Now, I do know that you finished up school while you were in training camp and stuff like that. So congratulations to you, because that's no small feat. And yeah, I absolutely enjoy the grind, because no matter what your job is, you do have those sterling moments, but behind the scenes, there's a heck of a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of, I would imagine, times of self-doubt where it's you and two other incredibly talented goalkeepers. And just because you had a great game yesterday, what are you doing today? Kind of
Right.
thing. Am I right about that? That it's like,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think in any position of any sport, in any position in life, really, you're going to have that kind of self-doubt. But I think from my personal experience of being a goalkeeper, it's almost exemplified more in our day-to-day, I think, because of the nature of our position. It's so much more failure than it is success. And especially in a game, if you make one mistake, you could lose the game for your team, So I think it's like learning how to deal with that self-doubt in an environment, where you are failing a lot to get better. Obviously, failure isn't necessarily a bad thing. It makes us better, but that's been tough for sure. And I think goalkeepers have to be really resilient in that fact, and figure out a way to overcome that self-doubt and just be confident even in moments of failure and training and things like that.
Definitely. Okay, so in my book, Epic Begins with One Step Forward, one of the things that I really like are these two words, not yet, because I think there's so much hope and optimism in it. So here's my question for you, Angelina. What's one or two of your not yets?
That's a great way of putting things, by the way. Not yet. I'm going to start incorporating that more. But I think one of my not yets is solidifying my spot in the NWSL as a starting goalkeeper who's there to stay, who's there. Like you said, I had one good game. I had a few good games last year. Okay, what's next? And I think kind of solidifying that for me is something that I have not yet done. That's on my horizon. And I think another thing that's, again, very soccer related, I think you could use not yet in every aspect of your life, but in regards to soccer, I am not yet on the national team, the full women's national team. And that's a goal of mine, especially now that I've had a year in the league and played against the women that are on that team. I know that that's something in my wheelhouse. I'm just not yet there. And I'm excited for that opportunity for sure.
Well, I would say, I think that you really do have a great chance. And I am really hopeful that, you are our country's goalkeeper. And
thank you.
And maybe one of your not yets is standing on, and again, not to denigrate the U17 and stuff, but I'll say the full World Cup soccer
100%. 100%.
And yes, I do encourage you. Not yet is so wonderful because it says it's happening. It just isn't. I haven't done it right now, but I am working on it.
It's in the works. It's in the works.
Yeah, and there obviously you don't know. There's a lot of really great goalkeepers here in the United States. Now,
absolutely.
Of course, I've known you, and perhaps I'm a little biased, but I think you got a good chance, Angelina.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so if we happen to have some young ladies who are soccer players and stuff, what is one or two pieces of advice that you'd either one give or two, now that you wish someone would have told you when you were 13 or 9 or whatever?
Yeah, I think something that I had to figure out on my own, and that I would try to tell young girls today is there's such a power in self-belief, in this like innate belief system in yourself. And getting that belief and that validation from external sources is great at times. It can be really motivating, but I think in order to be your best self and hit the standards that you set for yourself, you have to have this innate belief in yourself that you can do it, you will do it. And I don't know exactly what the step-by-step is to developing that, but I think if you can develop that and really, it's I was going to say if you can really love yourself, but it's not about that. It's about believing that you can do it and that you will do it. And I think even when times get hard, I've always had that in me from a young age. And it's been this like intrinsic sort of inspiration that's kind of kept me motivated. And so I would say work on developing that inner self belief, inner self-confidence.
Would you phrase it like this? Believing yourself unfailingly.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay. And so soccer obviously has been and is your life at this moment. But at some point, no matter how awesome we are, sometimes we have to say, that was fabulous, but now there's something new. Looking way into the future here, what do you want to do after soccer?
I'm honestly, like you said, way in the future. I'm crossing bridges as I have to at the moment.
Absolutely.
But as you said, I went to Cal. I love school. I'm a bit of a nerd. I love psychology. I majored in psychology and specifically the neuro side of psychology.
Sure.
And I think one of my biggest dreams, besides all the soccer related things, would be to pursue a career in that. And I think that would really make me fulfilled. I don't know exactly what that looks like for me yet, but I can definitely envision myself getting into that field. And yeah, I'm always going to need that intellectual stimulation. And I was actually just talking about it the other day. I was like, I miss school, honestly. Like, I miss being intellectually stimulated like that and learning all the time, from some of the best professors ever at Berkeley. So I think that's definitely going to be something that I need later on.
Definitely. And obviously right now your eye on the prize is soccer, and that's great. And obviously majoring in psychology, I'm a little biased. So did I'm a professional, licensed mental health professional. So I'm like, absolutely, I think it's great. And it has been so exciting to watch you play. I got to watch you play in college and, now professionally. Saw highlights of you on the national team in the U17 and watched you march out with the U20s. I believe you were in France. That I was like, oh my God, I know who that is. So little fanboy, sorry. But it's really cool. I mean, it's honestly, it's been so exciting as a fan to say, I know that person and they actually know who I am. They're not like, oh yeah, I think I saw you there, so that's been cool. Well, I don't know that, I have anything more. I mean, we really talked about your awesome epic career And, I just want to say to my audience, I say all the time at the end of my podcast that epic choices lead to the epic life we want. And Angelina is really a great example of someone making some epic choices and truly living an epic life.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I would second that. I think it is all about choices. And that can mean a variety of things, but I really do think it's about the choices you make in every area of your life.
Absolutely. And having a dream and saying, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm still going to take one step forward towards my goal each and every day.
Yeah.
Well, Angelina, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk with me and with my audience. I wish you nothing but the best of luck this year. I look forward to watching you and your career accelerate. Hope that you have a healthy year.
Oh, thank you, Zander. I was really excited to do this, and it did not let me down. I had a lot of fun, and I hope all your listeners enjoyed. That was epic.
Thank you. All right. Well, everyone, remember that there are more episodes coming. And as always, epic choices lead to the epic life we want. Have a great day.
Get your gift copy of the award-winning book Epic Begins with One Step Forward at epicbegins.com. That's a wrap on this episode of Epic Begins with One Step Forward with your host, Zander Sprague, best-selling author, internationally acclaimed public speaker, and licensed professional clinical counselor. To make your next conference or event epic, send an email to Zander at zander@epicbegins.com. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Remember, epic choices, epic life.